think what's important for everyone to understand is that there's a couple of ways that people typically make money. So the first way is what we call earned income, and the second way is what we call investment income. Now, most people will only ever earn money via earned income. And what do I mean by this? I mean getting up every day, grinding it out, working for someone, climbing the corporate ladder, becoming an entrepreneur, business owner. But in order for money to keep coming into your bank account, you need to exchange time for money. And if you were to stop that activity, it's not going to be very long before your whole world collapses. And they say that the average person in the UK has less than 3 months worth of reserves in the tank. So if they got sick or they lost their job, and something profound is taking place right now, and that is artificial intelligence. You know, artificial intelligence has its pluses, but it also has its downside as well. And it is said that artificial intelligence could replace something like 50% of the workforce within the next 5 years. So I believe we're entering into a very interesting time. And if you're listening to this and your only form of income is coming from a job or business, then you potentially could be heading for trouble at some point relatively quickly. And I'm talking about really successful people as well. You know, dentists, doctors, engineers, you know, lecturers, pilots, you know, people that have trained for years in their field. They've climbed the corporate ladder. They aspire to be the manager of the manager of the manager and run teams. And, you know, some of the people I've met recently are on really big salaries, really big city bonuses, but it is all from earned income. And I have something called the wealth pyramid, you know, going from level 0, which is survival, to level 5, which is abundance. And level 0, even if you're on 6 or 7 figures a year, but it's from earned business and you haven't got assets, you are on level 0 because you have to keep working in order to earn money. So that's the first way. The second type of income, and this is what we're going to talk about today, and that is investment income. And this is building a diverse investment portfolio where you do the work once and potentially get paid for a lifetime. And this is where your money is working for you, so you don't have to work for it, and using tried and tested asset classes and investment strategies that you need to go and learn and master and put some effort into. But when you know how to do this, all of a sudden it's a game changer, and you are then making money while you sleep. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is investing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
This is a very, very urgent announcement. Assets for Life is celebrating its 10 years on the 13th and 14th of September. And I am running a 2-day in-person live event where you can come and spend time with me, multimillionaire Liam Ryan, and the other incredible speakers and mentors, and come and network with like-minded people. Over the 2 days, I'm literally going to show you how to make, manage and multiply money, how to create a 7-7-7 plan, 7 income streams within 7 years, generating your 7 figures a year profit tax efficiently. This is your time to create wealth. The game is changing. The old way doesn't work anymore, and I am going to show you the new way so you can get up and running. You're also going to get to network and mastermind with the most successful graduates and community members within the Assets for Life family. So what do you need to do? There's a button or a link around this video. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go to the description, click the link and get registered. It's the 13th and 14th of September. We've got a fantastic venue. Come and hang out. This is literally once in a lifetime opportunity. Click that link now, get yourself registered, and this is my personal invitation to you, and I'll see you at the birthday weekender.
Now, Liam, you probably know, you probably don't know this. Every 5 years, 6 years, I do join some sort of investment club or academy or something, or somebody who's teaching something. I don't know if we are talking about that today here or not, but recently I was one of the lucky ones to look into what you are teaching around investment, and it was just mind-blowing. Seriously, I mean, I looked at it and I compared it, because once you have some old version of knowledge and education, you can't help but comparing, and I was comparing it. I'm like, wow, where was this stuff some 20 years ago? Seriously. I think you probably don't remember last time I saw you at the thing. I gave you one big hug. I said, this is one of the most amazing things, actually. And now as I'm doing it, I'm still in that training phase. But when I'm doing things, I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's just mind-blowing. I actually told my kids, I've got 2 grown-up kids, I said, listen guys, I want to master this, and this will be the best gift. Forget about house, forget about anything else. This will be the best gift I'm going to give you. Yeah. And it's what I like about it is so doable, for everybody. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to do this, or have a maths whiz brain or anything like that. It's so beautifully done. So could you go a little bit into that?
Of course. Okay, so when we talk about investing, you'll hear me talk about build a diverse portfolio, multiple streams of income, and for many, many years I've obviously been known as the property guy. No money down, rent to rent, single lets developments. I've been involved with over 31 million pounds worth of development, raised over 11 million pounds in joint venture funding. My graduates have gone and done much more than I have collectively. And that's been a really big focus. And I do believe that everyone tuning in should become property investors and get that also as a foundation. And what happened, Diyari, back in 2020, I got involved with a couple of guys and I invested heavily into them with this scheme, and I ended up losing £400,000.
Whoa.
And it was a really big blow, like a really big blow. My business was doing great. I understood how to make the money, but I was missing the other 2 elements, and that's how to manage it and how to multiply it. So through that process and feeling sorry for myself, and it took me, quite a bit of time to rebound just mentally and spiritually, and, wanting to, I knew that I needed to master this thing called money. And I was really good at, I've been making money, Diyari, since I was in the playground 8 years of age. So making money, I've got no problem with making money, right? It's the managing and the multiplying. And through
the 3 M's.
Yeah, the 3 M's. And through losing that £400,000, 2 things happened. Number 1, I decided that I was never going to trust the banks. And number 2, I wasn't going to give my money to fund managers or to IFAs. I was going to become my own fund manager. And everyone can do this. So through one of my great contacts, Doug James, who's an incredible investor, he introduced me to someone called Jeremy. And Jeremy is one of the world's leading stock market investors. He's been investing into the stock market for 20 years. He's been teaching small groups of people for 13 years. And over his 20 years experience, Diyari, he has created 14 of his own stock market strategies. So I met Jeremy. I said, Jeremy, I don't like computers. I don't like numbers. I don't like spreadsheets. I don't like charts. I haven't got time. I've got 50 members of staff. I've got multi-million-pound organizations. Like, are you sure I can master this thing called investing? And he said, Liam, all you need is less than 1 hour a week. You need time to study the strategies. Everything I do is rule-based. There are strategies and what to buy, when to buy, and how to buy. Anyone can do it. And you know what? He took me under his wing, and I followed the strategies, and I started to get insane results. So I'm not giving anyone here today financial advice.
No.
People have to do their own research and due diligence. But over the last few years, I've been working behind the scenes and actually becoming my own fund manager for me and my family.
Yeah.
And when you do this, you can invest personal funds.
Yeah.
You can invest company funds. You can invest family funds. And with the right structure, you can invest your pension fund. So I have a SAS which is attached to one of my limited companies. So I'm moving monies into my SAS and then using that to invest. And what is great about these strategies is that just one of the strategies, I'll just share about one of them, is where in the market you are selling options. So you get people that buy options, and that can be highly leveraged, very speculative. A lot of people buying options, they lose money, but when they win big. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. And maybe for people tuning in today, I really needed something that was easy to master, didn't take up much time, was very scalable, and was going to grow and generate income.
Yeah.
So one of the strategies, it's what we call income monthly builder, and this is where you become an option seller in the market, and you are selling options. And when you sell an option, you get a premium like you do an insurance company. An insurance company will sell you a policy and they will charge you a premium. What we are doing in the market is we are becoming an option seller, and the option buyers are buying insurance from us. So we pick up premiums, and through that process you can buy stock low and you can sell it high. But that one strategy, Diyari, people will be making around 18% per year. And this is not something that's new. This is something that Jeremy created over the last 20 years and has been tried and tested. Another thing that I want to share, what this is not about is becoming some market city trader, having 8 screens in front of you, analyzing the markets, charts and graphs. What I don't do is invest into individual stocks and shares. So I'm not a stock picker. I'm not looking at quarterly reports. I'm not doing hours of research. I'm not going to go and buy Tesla shares or Apple shares. And I'm not saying they're not good shares to buy, but the problem with buying individual stocks, the problem is that they could go to zero. They could. Absolutely. Look at what happened to Kodak. Look at what happened to Blockbuster. Let's look at what's happened to some of the biggest companies in the world. Prices can go to zero. So if we're not going to invest into individual companies, what are we going to do? We're going to invest into asset-backed funds that are suitable for the strategies which I've been learning over the last few years. And hey, look, 18% a year is insane. And if all people did was learn that one strategy and deployed as much money into it as possible from their job or business or underperforming asset classes, and only did that for the next 10 years, you're going to reach retirement a lot quicker. I never knew this stuff existed. I never knew anything about the stock market, and anything I did do in the stock market before, I lost money. I bought high and I sold low, and I would go off on these tangents, and I'd want to go and buy all the altcoins, and I'd want to get in the get rich quick stuff. And you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of people out there making money right now with meme coins and altcoins. It's not my cup of tea. No. I'm 44 years of age. I've got a beautiful wife, 4 kids. I've done all of that. What I'm looking for, and maybe what other people are looking for, what they're looking for, Diyari, is what can I do that doesn't take up much time, I can do as a side hustle, I can master this thing investing, and that's how to manage the money, multiply the money, be tax efficient, and take advantage of compounding, which Warren Buffett says is the 8th wonder of the world, and allow your money to grow consistently over many years. I'm telling you, it took me let's just call it 40 years to figure this out. That is the plan.
Yeah.
That is the plan. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm you say 44. I'm 62, and I am excited about it because in this day and age, with the advances of medicine, everything, sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't know if that's for me." Well, actually, what if you live till you're 102? I mean, would you like to be in? And now we know people are selling their houses to actually, for their kids, to put them in nursing homes, a decent nursing home, because everything is so expensive. Healthcare is becoming expensive. So, but it's so liberating. This whole system, I personally think it should be taught in schools. Because, like I said, all the other systems I learned in the past, there were individual stocks, there was a lot of maths involved, there was a lot of research involved. I mean, heck, sometimes you have to spend like 7 hours in a week just trying to follow a stock and see how many coughs the CEO coughed this week, and how was his temperature this morning. None of that, really. And you say 18%, I think that's probably a modest thing. I know you always try to kind of play down things, but I look at some of the statistics there. I mean, some of them could be as much as 25, 26, 27%.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we don't know what the market's going to do tomorrow, but I've just made it my focus over the last few years to actually diversify my portfolio, and because I'm now involved in property as an asset class, owning the physical asset, and that's great. But I also want to diversify into other asset classes within the stock market, where rather than owning the actual asset, you own a small part of it through your shares, but you can trade these funds like you can individual companies, and then using the strategies that I've been taught by Jeremy, there are just signals to look for. Yeah. So if there's a signal, you buy. Yeah. If there's not a signal, you come back the next day. And because these are rules-based, in my view, it's very safe, very secure. There's a time to buy, there's a time to sell, and you just allow that money to work for you. And look, I'd hope to see anywhere between 30 and 40% this year return across the portfolio using the strategies with Jeremy. And look, anyone can become an investor, Diyari. You haven't got to wear a suit. No. You don't need to go and get degrees. You just need to find the right people doing what you want and go and put some time and energy and effort in and get your money working.
I mean, I met Jeremy through you, and what a great guy, and what an honest guy. But this whole thing is for me, it was very liberating, because I feel like I don't need to do all that due diligence and research. You have to do a little bit maybe, but you just look for the signals when it says buy or sell. And the beauty is not down to somebody in an office in London, it's down to you. Like any other decisions about your life, you want to make yourself. You make this decision yourself. Another point I should say, what I also like is the diversity of the options, the strategies, exactly. Because some of it might not suit somebody, but I bet you there will be always one or two strategies that will be close to somebody's heart, and they think that's the one. So it's amazing, actually.
Yeah. And also, when we talk about investing, the biggest thing, Diyari, is that I've been able to get my older kids involved. Even my little kids, my 8-year-old and 4-year-old now, because I've been shown a way how to manage my own ISAs. And ISA is tax-free. You get a £20,000 a year limit, £9,000 for your children, and any money you make in your ISA is tax-free. Now, if you've got a bad ISA, or you're not managing it yourself and it only makes 3 or 4%, then tax-free on 3% is not a really great deal. But if you've got strategies where potentially you could be making 10, 15, 20, 30% a year, then it doesn't take long for that money to compound. So both my small children, my 8-year-old and 4-year-old, we sit down every month, they check their accounts out, we see if it's gone up or if it's gone down, and they don't quite understand it, but they're starting to see that your money can work for you rather than you work for it. So the quicker that every single person tuning into this masters investing and becomes their own fund manager using the right strategies relatively quickly, you will be financially independent, and you'll have all the time to do what you want with who you want. Stop working hard and work smart.
Absolutely.